what is pedophilia? Pedophilia, according to Wilhelm Reich, is a consequence of a person's need to control others expresses itself as sex with children. He proved that a long time ago. His one of the first books to be banned in America. His medical license was taken away from him. He was a psychiatrist for saying that. But the point is, if you look at slavery was just rooted in sexual abuse of children, men, women. And so that at the end of slavery, rather than the European slave owners who were responsible for that heinous crime, they tried to justify it by maintaining white privilege. And we're now seeing the cornerstone of white privilege is the right to rape children. That doesn't even make any sense unless you see it as a psychological resistance to owning what Carl Jung called your shadow. You know, when's the last time you've had a public discussion about the depth of sexual depravity during slavery? Maybe never. And until we address that issue, it's going to manifest itself unconsciously in forms of justification. That's why the victims of sexual abuse are being demonized and the sexual abusers are being protected. There's a reason for that. There's a psychological reason for that. If you understand Ifa, the psychological reason for that is really, really clear, as is the path towards transformation, redemption, and elevation. But rather than look at those tools, people want to denigrate the African way of doing things and say that the only way you can do Ifa is when it has a Catholic overlay and is rooted in ideas associated with Jesus. And I am of the opinion that is simply not true. If you look at the ideas of the prophet Oromila, they are different than the ideas of Jesus. So we can't really evaluate the difference until we understand the difference. And we can't understand the difference until we discuss the difference. And we're not going to be able to discuss the difference if you're going to call me names every time I express an idea that you don't agree with. Did we cover the basics here, I hope? Yeah.
Here we go. Let's go. So let's go into it now.
Here's the first system of divination that I teach. It's called one goat head. When you make an offering of a goat, when you prepare a goat for feeding the awos who are praying for you, the word abo does not mean sacrifice. It never meant that. It doesn't mean that. It will never mean that. Abo means offering in the context of alchemical transformation of the elevation of consciousness. By killing a goat in a ritual, a sacrifice, you're denigrating the teachings of the prophet Oromila and not understanding what he tried to say at all. So we do make prayers when we make offerings, and one of the ways we determine if the prayers are heard in Orun or heard by our ancestors is we toss the goat head up in the air. If it lands neck down, the prayers are heard. If it lands neck up, we need to say some more prayers. That's one of the most basic systems of divination used in Ifa. You'll see awos during rituals grab the goat head by the ears and throw it up in the air. And the first time I saw that, I thought, what the heck is going on? So now we know. All right. So we can do the same thing, yes, no, with one cowrie shell. This is the stomach. This is the mouth. If the mouth is up, it's yes. If the stomach is up, it's no. The stomach is that part of the shell where you pick off the shell and you see a little spiral inside. The spiral, excuse me, let me point to this spiral. There you go. That's the mouth of the cowrie shell. That's the stomach. Perfect. Great pictures. You see the stomach has a little line in it. That line represents the umbilical cord. The Yoruba word for umbilical cord is EB. EB does not mean Arishi hates you. EB means the client is in resistance to learning the lesson. Okay, so the system of one cowrie shell, we can also do the same thing with one obi abata, one kola shell. We'll see as we get into this that the obi abata has male and female little nodes in it. There you go. Perfect. Beautiful. And you can use one, you You break them in half. You use one. You throw. You get a yes or a no, and then traditionally, if you get a yes in terms of questions about your prayers, you offer part of the kola nut to the spirit you're talking to, and you eat part of it yourself. That becomes the abo. All right. So okay, meji yams. All right. So when you offer yams, you can cut the yam in half, and this is the inner part of the yam. This is the there you go. Perfect. You can cut those in half, and it makes a yes/no oracle as well. Meji yams. All right. So then we go to it's a misprint. Sorry, obi kola. So the obi kola has male pieces, and let me see. Can you see this? Female pieces. That's a female pieces. The female pieces are round. Well, there you go. There's a good picture. Okay, so here's the system. A male and a female is a yes. A male and a female up is yes. A male and any other one down is no. A male and a female open is yes. Same thing down here. Two parts, a male and a female down is no, and two female is yes. So pretty simple, similar to 4 calories.
What about a head or tail? Same, like if you take like 2 pennies and you have a head and you have a tail, the head would be the female, the tail would be the male, and then if you throw 2 pennies,
not quite. No, it's a little more complicated than that. Look at it this way. These pictures aren't as good as they should have been. I'm going to do this again. We're going to have some spontaneous art here, okay? Can you see this? This is a male piece of obi. This is a female piece. Each one of these pieces has 2 sides. Now, with just 2 things, I have 4 options. You understand? With a coin, with heads and tails, you only have 2 options for each coin. But head or tail, yes or no. You put 2 coins together, it's still head or tail, yes or no. All right. But with this, you can have black, white, 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 black, and the black side. What I'm calling the black side is the outer shell. The white side is the inner shell. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Okay. So. Two cowrie shells. 2 mouths up is yes. A mouth and a stomach is yes. 2 stomachs is a no. That's 2 calories. Yeah. Okay. Very good. We're on a roll now. Four calories. Marin calories. Yes. That's 4 mouths up. No for stomachs up. 2 stomachs up, 2 mouths up. That's a yes. 1 stomach up is a maybe yes. 1 mouth up is, 1 mouth up is a maybe no. You got that? There you go. Yes, exactly. Yes, and each of those has different names. We're expected to know those. Yes. Itagora. There's different names for those, but that's a good. You've got, yes, very good, very good, very good. Perfect. All right. So it gets more complicated. You can use 2 obi. All these are yes, all those are no. Those are things that you need to sit down and study for the purposes of our review. Just know that using 2 pieces of obi abata is an option. Here's one that you don't see often, but I saw it a lot in Africa. Sometimes people throw, can you see that, with just one leg of the okwele. So it's the same as reading 4 cowries.